you're also speaking to a lot of these educational institutes. Are you seeing interest amongst these institutions to want to come and set up a campus or to have a joint degree? Because that could be a big game changer in a country like India, which requires more institutes of higher learning of a global standard.
Absolutely. And Rahul, as I said, it's very good to have Indian students coming, and you know the Indian Americans have done so well here. During the COVID, you had to on any television station and you would see an Indian origin doctor talking about COVID and what to do. So definitely the professionals here, the 4 million of them, have done exceedingly well. But we are looking at now creating those facilities in India. And under the new education policy, there is a great opportunity to do that. There is much excitement in the US universities here. As I mentioned, I have spoken to almost 180 presidents and chancellors of universities. And we are in close touch with our education ministry, with the UGC, with a number of other institutions. You know, look, the top league, that is the IITs, will find their way to the top league here. But we are also looking at connecting tier 2 and tier 3 city institutions and universities. Because I strongly believe that the engineers and professionals there also have a lot of flexibility of mind. And we have been underlining that to many of the industry and multinationals here, that they do need to reach out there. So skill development is going to be an important focus during this visit.
Let's spend a moment, sir, on the business component of this visit. Prime Minister Modi will be meeting a lot of the top American CEOs as well. Could you give us a status check of where talks on the Indo-US free trade agreement are at this moment, and in your conversations with American corporates, the kind of interest that you're seeing in wanting to be a part of the India story, especially in the context of China flexing its muscles, and a lot of these companies looking at a China plus one supply chain strategy, so they're not entirely dependent on China for their production.
So Rahul, there are a number of aspects you have touched here, but let me start from the back. You spoke about resilient supply chains. It's a very important concern here, and India is certainly being looked at one of those partners who can be important supply chain. In fact, you know, during the height of COVID, and this may surprise you a bit, the way our handloom industry progressed, the way the production of masks was done, actually in late 2020, I got a request from the city of Philadelphia asking for 3 million masks. And, you know, we were in a position to actually provide them. So that's the kind of cooperation which has been happening. But, you know, coming down to the business part and the trade part, which you pointed out. Look, right now, even in the times when we do not have an FTA, when we are coming out of COVID, that is, the world is reeling under that pressure, United States especially, even then we have reached the record figure of 190 billion trade and plus. But this is only tip of the iceberg, and I completely agree with you. And when I mentioned to you, when I pointed out those 5 areas, healthcare, technology, IT, digital, you know, and in energy, in education knowledge partnership, and defense and strategic affairs. Look, the scope is huge, and that's why this particular visit is going to be a landmark visit. You will see the number of interactions. In fact, you asked me about CEOs. I'm going to avoid giving specific names, but I can tell you that between the different engagements of the Prime Minister, starting with even the state banquet and the state lunch which the Vice President will be hosting, and his interaction with the professionals, his one-on-one meetings, there is going to be ample opportunity where he's going to be interacting with the topmost CEOs. That will be an expression of interest in India. In fact, every day if you look at the social media, you see some top American industrialist or company visiting India and even calling on the Prime Minister. So this aspect is one side. But there is also something, just one more minute there's also something silently which is happening. That is in small and medium industry. You know, during this visit, there also will be a touch upon the SBA, which is Small Business Administration here, and our small and medium business sector in India. They will also be connected. You know, the startup culture, there's so much that can be done, and today tech enables all that to happen.
Well, Manmohan Singh had a path-breaking visit in 2005 when the Indo-US nuclear deal was announced. From what you're saying, it seems this is much more than just a sentence or a paragraph. You seem to be suggesting that this is a full chapter in the deepening Indo-US ties, and we'll track this visit very closely with you in Washington, D.C. Ambassador Taranjeet Singh Sandhu, for taking out time and joining us on the India Today News Track. Thank you very much, sir. Deeply, deeply appreciate you taking out time in the midst of a very busy schedule.
Thank you, Rahul, and I leave it to you, whatever nomenclature you want to give it, but I will tell you this much, that both as far as ceremony is concerned and as far as substance is concerned, you will see the impact.